Thank you, Mitali. My name is Amar Diwvedi, and I'm the founder and CEO for AV Digital Media. So, a quick introduction about our company. So, we are a digital solution company, and we are helping brands for their complete customer lifecycle management, including acquisition to engagement to retention. Yeah. So, we'll start with the introduction first, and then we'll move to the questions. Yeah. So.
Hello, everyone. My name is Gala Polak, and thank you so much for having me. I'm more than happy to be here in this conference, surrounded by people, let's say, who are shaping the future of data, marketing, and amazing brand experiences. So, yes, Pandaman event is our company. We do corporate events, conferences, gala dinners, and so on. But the core of our business is the event marketing. That's why I'm here with you today. And thank you so much one more time for your attention.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and good to see you all here. My name is Swapnil Saurav. I've been working in IT industry for more than 20 years, and mostly in last 15 years into data space. So I currently work for a team called Problem Management Team. Our job is to make sure that how data is used across different teams. Currently, we are working with e-commerce division of our company, and we work with marketing, we work with various other teams to create those business cases in AI for them. That's what my background is.
Hi everyone, my name is Yogesh and I manage the e-commerce business here in UAE for Beiersdorf. You would have heard of brands like Nivea, Eucerin, Hansaplast. So all the digital sales, the commercial P&L, JBPs, that's what I control. And so happy to be here, so happy to see everyone. I'm very excited for the topic of discussion today. Looking forward to some encouraging comments.
Hi everyone, once again. So my name is Tuhin, Banik, and I am representing ThatWare. So once again, the purpose is to make sure that the digital transformation happens at a wider scale with the best of the technologies out there, because the world is changing and we need to change ourselves accordingly.
Great. Thank you for the introduction, guys. So today's topic is very interesting, especially for the brand, where we are talk about the engagement, especially post cookies and multi-platform world. Yeah. So we'll start with the questions now. Yeah. So first question with Gala. So as digital signals become less reliable due to privacy restrictions, how can live events serve as a crucial environment for observing authentic user behavior and generating high quality content-based insights? So.
Yeah, thank you. So if we are talking about this new era of post-cookies, well, I always say that if cookies are disappearing, at least we steal a coffee at the events. So, of course, it's kind of joke, but it's the truth. I think that in these, privacy restrictions, in this new era with AI technologies, digital data, and so on, the events is the greatest solution just to understand your real customer. And we see it at Pandaman like every day. When people walk into a venue, when they interact with the content, when they talk to each other. So what we can do, what we can see is the result. We can observe the real human unfiltered behavior. And this is the key of success for all our industry, I mean the marketing industry. If you know the behavior of your customer, so you can do a lot. And what's changing? At the past, you know that during the events we have lots of engagement activities, which are very popular and so on. But our clients, usually it's big brands, they asked us to do some kind of activities. And after that, after the event, we have lots of data, but nobody asked to show it. Everyone forgot about it immediately after the event. What's going on right now? The brands are still interested in this kind of data, and they are asking us as an agency, as an event agency, to show them the results, to share all this information from the event about the behavior of the guests. So this is the new era. And what is more important, of course, today I will stand for the events. So what is more important? That behind of every single pixel, behind of every data is the person. And for us, as an event marketing agency, this is the beautiful thing and a very effective thing if you can use these results to create your marketing campaign for the whole year. So that's the opinion. Thank you.
Great. So now coming to you, Swapnil, how can brands leverage AI to rebuild precision targeting in a especially post third-party, cookie world without compromising user privacy?
Right. Yeah. So I think I'll take you from what you just said. Right. The thing is that's the fact, right? That we can't use cookies like we used to do it before, right? Because of privacy issues, data privacy, and things like that. But with AI, we have an advantage of cleaning, making data more mature. So I think the first thing that we have to accept is that instead of focusing on quantity of data, we should focus on quality of data, right? So I think the quality of data will serve both. One, and instead of just collecting all sorts of data and not able to make any sense out of that, it's better to collect focused data, right? So that will help us to collect focused data, which I call it as quality data than quantity. Second thing is, even the audience, customers are also now, they understand, right? They understand the importance of data. Like, for example, you book a flight ticket and Google gives you a message that, okay, time to leave from your home, right? So since Google is able to track my emails, messages, it's going to help me, right? So if my customer understands why we need data, right? Why, let's say, a marketing company or a client or companies requiring the data from me, they will be happy to give the data. So I think there's a responsibility from our side as well to make customer understand, make customer educate about the data that they want to give us. Now, if they don't want to give us, fine. But then they should also know that what they are losing in terms of not sharing the data. And also, if you tell them open that, we need ABC data, and these are the 3 things or 5 things that we can do for you. So it's going to build the trust between customer as well as the company. So I think we should be open. We should, create that trust channel, right? Get quality data. And also, there's something called as federated machine learning that we are trying to work with is, instead of getting all the data to us, can we have some kind of mechanism, some kind of model which runs on the customer system itself? So that, the data is clean, data is processed, and what we get is the business insight, not just the data. So generally what we do is we get the data and then we process, then we make sense out of it, then we return back to it. Instead of that, can we have some kind of federated machine learning model running on the customer system so that we get the filtered data, which is helpful for us in terms of both meeting the customer requirement, the legal requirement, compliance requirement, and as well as helping us in terms of developing our product. And I think the last part to it is also that with AI, it doesn't have to have we don't need to get entire signal of one customer, right? Now, let's say if I get a signal from what a customer, and then I get another signal from another platform or from another customer, and if they are similar in nature, then probably we can combine them to create one entire picture of that data, right? So instead of depending on same customer to give us multiple signals, multiple data, why don't we take data from multiple customers, but in a way using AI, help us to understand that, okay, these customers, though they are different, but probably the behavior is same. So in that way, we are still be able to create that complete cycle of data from different sources, at the same time giving us that power to create models and create our workflows. So I think these are the areas where AI can work, okay, and definitely companies are working in that direction.
Great. And how you use basically to engage those users?
Right. So how do we engage them? So as I said, right, first thing is the trust factor, right? So if I tell you that, okay, you are going to get this in return, they will help us. So be very open, okay? Explain them why we need the data. Second thing is, instead of focusing on what we say, the person as such, we should focus in terms of moment, right? Okay, a customer in this kind of scenario behaves this way, or what you call a scenario building. Instead of creating customer picture, why don't we create scenario building? So instead of creating the entire picture, let's focus on each scenario. Okay, so a customer, if we launch a, let's say, e-commerce product in fashion, how would a 20 to 30-year-old male would behave? Then, okay, focusing on one individual. So that way also you are able to complete the entire story. So I think that's how we should be doing.
Great. Thank you. Now coming to you, Yogesh. So with third-party cookies disappearing, right? Brand face fragmented identity signals across all the platforms like Meta, Google, TikTok, right, and other retail networks. So how should a modern marketeer architect unified consumer understanding when every platform data inside a walled garden?
First things first, we still have cookies. The post-cookies world is still some time away. I think Google still controls 60% of the traffic. Total, I think almost 1 or 2% is only walled. Especially in these walled gardens like an Instagram or Meta or the retailers, they do have certain signals that Swapnil also talked about. Fragmentation is a reality right now. And throughout the day's course, we talked a lot about personalization. I'll tell you how personalization is working right now. You land in Dubai, you search, I want to skydive, you open some page and you'll get an ad of a shoes. You don't want that, right? You want contextualization. How do you build that? And that's how the unification happens. How that happens? You build customer cohorts by taking signals across all these platforms. Meta will give you an interest, or TikTok will give you the kind of content or the behavior on the platform. Retailer data will give you the transactions and the basket analysis. You bring it all together and you create certain consumer cohorts. Once that is unified, the fragmentation typically goes away. Again, a cookie is like an ID, right? You identify a consumer online through that cookie. Once that goes, how do you identify? So personalization will give way to contextualization, definitely 100%, correct. And which we are seeing right now, especially in some of the campaigns that we are doing. Second thing, and I'll split it into two, very important, the first party data will become very important. There was a wave when the internet, somewhere around 2010, early 2010s, when a lot of brands started investing in D2C websites, calling it out is the future of e-commerce and so on. What we have learned, and I've worked with some of the companies like Unilever and Nestle, D2C websites are not being used as a sales channel. They are being used to collect and curate that consumer data and then use it for certain other campaigns.
Absolutely.
So first party data becomes important through CRM, through surveys, feedbacks, and so on and so forth. The second one is the advent of the clean rooms. There's one campaign we did, one of the biggest retailers here in UAE, and you can just Google Nivea Live Ramp, where we collated, we had a clean room of the full map ecosystem someone purchasing from a Carrefour to visiting a cinema and interacting with the brands maybe at a retailer level. And we use that clean room data to eventually target and build a campaign around. So fragmentation is a reality, but unification can happen from all the signals that we can see across digital. Once that unification happens, things become a little easier for brands like us to, bring context to our campaigns, and that's what we are doing right now.
Correct. Thank you, Yogesh. Now, next question to you, Tuhin. How can brands build, durable consent-driven first-party data ecosystem? Yeah, that delivers personalization without relying on cookies only.
So the first thing I think what every brand should or every marketer should actually do right now is to build a proper knowledge graph. I think that is one of the things which everyone is missing out nowadays, because the future would actually be cookieless because people are more privacy driven. In fact, if you ask me, I only if it is required, I just keep the location on. If I need to take an Uber from the hotel right to this place, just I turn on the location, and once the work is done, I once again turn the microphone off, the location off, every single things are off, because data are being collected from all of these giants, including Google itself.
Correct.
Just like now, like just now I just heard like if I'm about to do a skydiving and I'm seeing a ad of shoes. The reason being, I might in the last 48 hours I might search about some shoes. So the thing is that it is two-way like scenario. The first thing is, if I want to consume some content over the internet, then the first thing is we should choose the incognito version or any of the version that does not holds any of the cookies. The best possible search engine is there. There are a couple of them. DuckDuckGo is there. Brave is there. Brave is a browser which is very good in not holding of the cookies, because as long as your cookies, your online identities are not present, then like ad giants like Meta or Google, they cannot show you the ad. That is the very first thing. The second thing is like since cookieless world is becoming more popular, and that is like lot of marketers are facing or seeing that as a challenge. So I think like creating a vast knowledge graph or an entity ID or even a machine readable entity is more important. So there is a term which every one of you can search in Google, MREID, like machine readable entity ID. So so businesses should equip themselves, like they should build the structured data in such a way that it should feed into the search engine or the social medias about their entity IDs, what it does, what is the context behind the same. And along with that, earlier we James have asked, I think that is one of the most beautiful questions out there. Like people should slowly start optimizing for the large language model and the micro semantics as well, because this is when you would actually be like seeing your brand appearing on all of the LLMs out there. Like ChatGPT is just an LLM, which is using Lambda 2 of the Google. So Google AI search, once again, that's a part of the broader LLM out there. And last but not the least, coming down to the AI, how we can leverage or take AI for more precise targeting. So Facebook has launched one algorithm which can be readily found from developers.facebook.com. The short name is Roberta, ROBERTA. So the full form is Robust Organized BERT pre-training. So it means like Facebook is very good in even understanding intent beyond the intent, just like the lookalike audience, which normally target. For example, if you love, like today we had a good, beautiful lunch of chicken biryani, as like you have said. Like now the thing is like if you love chicken biryani, now if any of your audiences also love the same thing, then if lookalike version of the meta ad is being targeted, then those audiences would also be targeted without compromising on any of the consent or data, because it's simply a part of the lookalike audience in a broader way. Now you can optimize that, you can train that, you can do a lot of modifications and so on using because Facebook provides an open platform. So machine readable entity using the Roberta algorithms out there, building a knowledge graph or a knowledge entity out there, and optimizing for the LLMs. I think these things should really matter for 2026 and beyond, I would say, because this is the era where people have actually been like people are actually being more cookieless, to be more precise. and it's a it's really red flag across various MNCs. But if these small measures are taken from now, then I think the world can be more safer, and also the brands will not even compromise in terms of the marketing key performance indicators.
Cool. So now coming to you, Gala again, right? With the next question, right? And we are talking about the AI here. So this is again related to the AI. So with AI-driven personalization and move away from cookie-based targeting, right? How do you see the role of creative storytelling evolving in cross-platform brand experience, especially in the live events where emotional engagement is strongest?
I think it's a massive role because right now the storytelling it's not about just pushing the messages during the different communication channels. For example, here we make this story on a Facebook, another story, and so on. Right now, for brands, what we do, we designing an emotional arc that can travel across the platforms. And right now, it's not a linear, it's a circular. For example, everything starts with the digital teaser. Then is the phase of live event where the impressive is very strong, the connection with customer is so close, and so on. Then this emotional arc, the emotions of people, they transform into online content. So everything become content in social media. So it's the next phase. And then it's around. And then again, a digital teaser with another story and so on. So the storytelling, of course, must be very, very creative. It allows brand to be bright, to shine like a diamond, let's say. To be one of the one and to compete with another brands. So AI right now it help us to personalize the path, how we can see the content, where, and so on. Events amplifies the emotions, and storytelling it combines everything into one round. Everything is together. That's why, of course, the creative storytelling is a huge part of our job because lots of brands, they ask us to do, could you please create something unusual, something impressive? We really want to shine. We want to shift all our advantages and so on. So actually, it's a very, very difficult, complicated task because to create a story is the same as to be a director of the movie, like a screenplay. And really, and in our team, we have a director, really. That's the truth. We have a professional screenwriter from Hollywood. We hired him many years ago, and he was a friend, but right now he's a part of our team because to create this arc, it's really another kind of job. It's not about the marketing, it's not about the events, it's about screenwriter. So it's rather interesting.
Yeah. Thank you, Gala.
One comment, I think, from a brand's perspective, why storytelling is important is because the messaging and the communication to the shopper and the consumer across the journey has to be consistent. What I'm showing a shopper maybe in a store to a TikTok or a Meta or a Facebook or a Instagram and to let's say on a retailer website like Amazon or D2C, that needs to be consistent across. How brands like us are using AI, typically they fall into two buckets right now, and obviously there is a long way for brands like us to just use AI in our campaigns. The first is with all the signals that we have across, how are we able to create consistent cohorts across channels and use them in targeting and retargeting and the rest of the marketing. Second, a lot of AI is being used in creation of these creative assets. There's a lot of testing that's happening right now, especially in the MENA market, just to understand what sort of stories, what sort of content, what sort of banners, etc., are the ones that shoppers are engaging most with. So I think that's where, from a brand's lens, why storytelling and AI in storytelling is important. I would say, at least in the region, there's still a long way to go. We do have a lot of learnings from across the global markets that we try to implement. A lot of it has to also do with the tech infrastructure of the retailers, which is also evolving in the MENA region. But it's a very exciting, let's say, future.
So can I ask you a question to both of you? Like, what is stopping us from doing that? When you say tech infrastructure, what does that mean? Like, we don't have enough data, or what?
We don't have enough time, to be honest. But you're right. I think one of this is data, because what's happening right now, what are the data sources that we as a brand use? We use the 1P data that I talked about, which we get from the CRM and and our own website and the social channels. We get the retail media data from the retailers, the likes of Amazon, Carrefour, etc. Then we have Nielsen IQ that gives us separate data. At times, this data is not talking to each other. So how do we bring that data together so that there is just a single business insight, like you said, comes out and an action follows? So, and some of the, let's say, organizations and some of the markets are doing it better, but that's where we need to learn.
Great. Anything else you wanted to add, Tuhin? You wanted to add something?
I think storytelling actually connects well with the audience. One of the reason being it's one of the main backbone of semantics science, because it greatly helps to enhance, and you can say it widens the chances of more intent clarification, or as you guys said, like if you have a massive data of a cohort analysis from the wider range of the user base, then having a proper storytelling can really connect well with the audience, and that falls under the long term memory segment of the user, yeah, of the user end. Because if you show some of the contextual elements or something like that, then that normally falls under the short term memory segment, and people will eventually they'll eventually forget off, maybe it would be a matter of 1 or 2 days, or even a matter of not even a day. But as long as it is visual, more abrupt or more storytelling kind of thing, and if it kind of resonates with the proper persona and other kind of thing, then not only it can resonate with the proper long term segment of the human mind, but people can remember that particular brand as a part of that particular storytelling thing. So as a metric of conversion, I think that really works well. And as there are few hidden metrics which are important, like word of mouth or share of voice. So word of mouth, share of voice, so these all metrics can greatly enhance with the help of storytelling. So I think, yeah, that is quite important.
Great, thank you. Now coming to you, Swapnil. So with wallet gardens, tightening control and cross-platform visibility, shrinking, how can AI-driven contextual intelligence and creative optimization help brands deliver consistent, measurable engagement across fragmented ecosystem?
Yeah. So I would probably look at this in three different lenses. Okay.
Sure.
And probably I think that's why, kind of I asked him, because my work is mostly with US region and somewhat with Europe. So probably I'll look at three different lenses. Okay. So first lens I would look at is the relationship with the customer itself.
Yeah.
Now, if you give a mechanism for customer to opt out, instead of like what Tuhin said, that he has to go and switch off multiple things. Instead of that, you give an option. Are you opting in or not, right? And if customer says yes, I opt in, then you collect those data and then you give the reason. Okay, why you want? Okay, what kind of data you need? Why you want exactly, or what kind of benefit you're going to give back to the customer? And they say okay, and then you start collecting. Or if they say no, opt out, then you don't collect, right? And in today's world, I think we don't need a lot of data. And second thing is, even if they opt in, you give them option to opt out, unsubscribe, delete their data. So that way you're kind of building the trust. Okay, so it becomes easier then to track the customer. Second thing I would say is from the customer perspective itself. I think even Yogesh was talking about first party data, right? So first party data gives you a lot more flexibility. You know exactly whom you are talking to, and third thing is from the compliance perspective. Now, in mature markets, right, there are a lot of compliances and regulations which protects both the customer as well as the businesses. So you can still track the customer across different platform, but not knowing who the customer is. You are able to track the signal saying that, okay, the same person, but I don't need to know that is it you or her, right? But I know that same person moving across. So I think a lot of people have to come into to play. Government compliances should also support. In Europe, it is a lot different, but then in Europe, you still like law also gives people to actually opt in also. So I think if you are able to make your business process such that customer is with you, second thing is you are able to track using various mechanisms that same customer is moving across different platforms, then it's not a problem. But yes, if you are not able to do that, then getting using, let's say, you spoke about the customer who's like another customer, right? So they fall in similar cluster. So that will also help you to know that, okay, these are similar customers, and this is the way I need to deal with, or these are the interest areas of this kind of customer, and you know which campaigns to run, what kind of information to show them. So I think, and also like with LLM models, I would still say that it is easier. You can build some marketing co-pilot kind of application where you feed only your marketing related data and still be able to give relevant result. So I think both compliance, technical aspect, and third pillar would be the relationship with trust. Using all these three things, I think we can still manage to do that even when you don't have enough flexibility in terms of tracking the cookies.
Great, thank you. Anything you wanted to add? Any of you? So, yeah. So moving to next question, Yogesh. So measurement is breaking as cookies fed. How should brands rebuild their measurements frameworks to answer question like what actually works, what is incremental, and which channel drove the sale?
Right. When there are cookies, there is a direct attribution to anything that you do online. Once the cookies are gone, this attribution becomes a little hazy. Right now, anyway, the attribution to, let's say, retargeting is over-indexed in at least FMCG sector. But then if the cookies are not there, how do we measure it? Now, I heard Sajani talking about in the last panel on how the funnel is no longer linear and so on, which is true. But still, right now, the measurement happens across the funnel. So there's the upper funnel, where you talk about reach and impressions, mid funnel, and then eventually lower funnel where you're talking about conversions and repeats and so on. Once the cookies are not there, it becomes difficult, one, to attribute any spend that I'm doing on any of the platforms. So from attribution, we will move ideally to maybe incrementality. A lot of things will happen on A/B testing, and this is something that our brand and a lot of other brands are doing in the market. They are doing a lot of testing to check what sort of campaign, if there is no, let's say, identifiers or signals, what sort of campaigns help with what sort of KPIs, right? Is it eventually, the brand KPIs like awareness, or is it a conversion KPI like purchase and so on? Example, Spotify does more than 100 plus A/B testing across cohort, audience, geo, content, and so on. From an FMCG lens, that's like we do one in a quarter, for example, 4 to 10 a year. So the what we will measure once we are in a post-cookie world will change. And I think it will move from who saw the ad to what the ad does. And that's what we are looking at, and that's a conversation right now in, when we speak or create campaigns with the digital marketing team, with the retailers and so on. How do we stitch it together for in future once, eventually we don't have cookies is something to be seen.
I have a point to add. You spoke about KPIs. Our marketing team has actually included trust as a KPI. So, which was not there a few years back, but now we are also, putting trust as a KPIs to measure, how our customer is responding to our campaigns, our messages.
Okay. And the brand teams do look at trust, but I will still say that KPI is still sits with the brand team. It's siloed right now, but that's where maybe partners like you can work with the brands. Yes.
Great input, Yogesh. Now coming to you, Tuhin. With customer journeys becoming non-linear across the social and other channels, AI tools, CTV, and retail media, how can brands design unified experiences that maintain continuity and trust?
Like one of the obvious thing that people normally or brands normally misses out is the actual formula for measuring the customer journey, like which is the AIDAL model, like starting with the awareness, then interest, then desire, then action, then loyalty. So what brand does is like half of the brands they does some generic projections and all. They try to meet over with the projection. They tends to be over generic on the usual key performance indicator. As Yogesh and Saurav said, KPIs should be changed now because the world is changing. So trust, yes, your experience, your expertise, your what is your AI visibility, what is your AI search visibility, how much you are being seen in terms of the SERP visibility and all. Then there are word of mouth, share of voice, share of search. Share of search is one of the new parameters that provides you how much dominant effect you have compared to your peer competitors. Because even with the cookieless world, the corpus won't be changing. The corpus will be obviously be consisting of the large data set. So we can definitely figure out the term frequency or any kind of the corpus frequency out there. Now, having said that thing, so marketers or the team who works closely with the marketing team, they should dissect and they should actually understand all of the channels individually. If I'm launching a product or a service, is the awareness done right? So what are the key performance indicators that falls under the awareness segment? Then once the awareness is done, then is that is causing an interest or a disinterest? So there are fewer algorithms in AI. We can use sentiment analysis to understand if the interests are falling or not. Then after that, then there is desire. So once again, if I speak about algorithm, there are LDA is there, kappa statistics is there, cosine similarity is there. So we can think of if the desirability is falling under that particular zone or not. Then there is the action. So we have a whole lot of things. We can play with the lead magnets. We can play with the click through rate. We can even check the impressions rate. We can there are several other things, and last but not the least, the actual loyalty, like the retention ratio, the funnel, if the funnel is
Right.
constant or dynamic or not. So if customer, like people just say customer journey for sake of saying customer journey, but no one really cares about what are the 6 elements behind that. So if those 6 elements are really being tracked properly, then I don't think, like if it is a startup or even $1 billion brand, no brand will be falling behind. So I think this should be the magic key ingredient that brand should follow.
Tuhin, if you switch off your location, then this becomes difficult.
Great. Thank you.
Just
Thank. Yeah.
one point, I'm coming back to what you mentioned about the physical events. That's also true for a lot of brands, because especially in the Middle East GCC market, a lot of contribution to business for most of the brand is offline, and a lot of offline retailers are now present online. So what we call the omni-channel, and there are already let's say technologies now where we can understand the shopper behavior in the aisles, link it to their let's say purchase behavior in the past, and then look at certain signals online and then build a strategy around it. In a post-cookie world, I'm not sure how we are going to do that, but that also poses a challenge for the agencies, for the brands, on how then we can, close the loop, both digital and physical.
Actually, I would like to add that. So one of the decision for this, it's not a problem, but it's just the reality. So some of the big brands, when they are ready to, for example, to make a grand launch of their product or something, so what they do before it, they collect the data, use AI to predict the behavior, to know the audience, etc. And they make small events, let's say pre-launches, not just to increase the awareness of the brand. It's not the target, but the target is to understand, let's say, to make test A or B. So they have the data, everything, so they have the information. Is this information relevant to the real life? They see, this is the audience. Yes, we think that they will purchase this and that. Okay, is that true? Yes or not? What the audience will ignore, or what will they like? So this is the question. So yes, brands, they really do very, very small events. Usually it's with the audience from influencers. For example, they have the information that this huge influencer with this audience will be very, very relevant to their product. And then in the real life, it's not. Yes, we have some kind of cases. So pre-launches, events offline, yes, you can test your theories and the collected data.
Great. Such a great insight from you guys. So now we are opening the floor for Q&A. So if anyone has any questions, please.
So we can take one question from the audience. All right.
Hello everyone. So I have a question regarding the KPIs which we are talking about. So just want to understand how brands taking the KPIs in terms of lifetime value of the customers, and is it giving you the right potential, or it's the same behavior, or it's going to the downside. So just want to understand that.
Go ahead and then you guys can add. So, specifically about lifetime customer value, if you say yes, okay, I think it is important. It will stay relevant. But maybe things like click-through rate, I don't know how such KPIs would be relevant going forward. Yeah, but definitely the metric that you mentioned is going to be important. Yeah.
And one thing that will become important is how you measure it eventually. In a post-cookie world, how does the LTV gets tracked? Exactly. In omni-channel world, in a place where you are in, there are already studies now where you interact with the brand offline, but you make a purchase online. Now, something that you do online also impacts your offline behavior. And how bring, there are certain models right now that do identify the LTV, but in a post-cookie world, it'll become more difficult, and hence, do we change that KPI then? That's the question right now we are asking within the FMCG or the brand space.
So it depends basically. So according to FMCG, according to any brand, or something, any company can work on that thing. Sure. Thank you.
Any other question from anyone?
All right. So one key takeaway, Amar, from this session, from you, how you can conclude this to Amar. Yeah.
Yeah. So as I mentioned in the very start of the discussion, So engagement is key for any business, for any brands, right? To stick customers to their platform, and if engagement is, if engagement is good with your platform, it is, uh, come back your customer to you. That means your retention will be very high. And now these days, where first party data is becoming more important, right? And if you do have the first party data, you do have the great opportunity to utilize those data to engage, to convert those data, you can, create a great analysis. Basis on that, you can, drive relevant campaigns, relevant activities. And especially, I just wanted to add, so where we are helping brands for the customer life cycle management with the help of especially gamification. So gamification helps here a lot to, stick your users with your brands, and to, generate a very good, revenue in terms of ROI, right? So yeah, so this is overall summary from my side.
All right. Okay. So anyone would like to add on something?
One thing, first party data. Second is contextualization. We'll move away from personalization definitely in the post cookie world. The third is the retailer partnership will become more important, because that's where the eventual conversion
Absolutely.
and eventual shopping is happening.
All right. So can we have a big round of applause for the wonderful panel discussion too, and the great speakers who have joined us. So can you all please come forward for the group fee? And taking the memories from 60 DMAT CONFEX Dubai. So kindly follow hashtag DMAT Dubai.